Rise up, warrior. How's it going? My friend is Dr. Wasi. I hope you're doing great. I'm doing great by the grace of God, and it's so good to see you again. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to intermittent fast as a beginner, all right? So if you're watching this as a beginner, then intermittent fasting, I'll break it down for you. It's very simple. It's the easiest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So I want to tell you how I started, all right? Now, intermittent fasting, I'm sure you kind of have an idea of what it is if you're watching this video already, but it's when you fast for a certain period of the day and then you don't eat for a certain period of the day. Now, the easiest pattern that I found, the easiest time range that I found that I've used myself to lose the first 50 pounds that I've lost has been the 16 and 8 model, right? So that means that you fast for 16 hours of the day and then you eat within an 8-hour eating window. Now for me, that's usually about 1 p.m. is when I have my first meal, which is my lunch, and then I'll have my dinner, my second meal of the day, before 9 p.m. So from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. I have that 8-hour window, right? And then from 9 p.m. to 1 p.m. the next day, that's 16 hours. So that's how I get my fast. Now, I'm going to do a lot of videos and make a lot of content on all the different benefits of intermittent fasting, which of course is rapid weight loss and easy, sustainable weight loss, because I wasn't, consistent with the intermittent fasting continuously. I was very on and off. And it took me about 1.5 years to do all of it to lose the 50 pounds. But even though I was on and off, I still kept all the weight off, right? And so that was the amazing thing about intermittent fasting, was that just being consistent. Every time I fell off the wagon, every time I literally fell off of doing it, I rise back up, right? And so I continued doing it, and that's why I find it the most sustainable lifestyle for losing weight and the most sustainable diet, because it's not really like a diet to begin with where you're restricting yourself from a bunch of things. And especially if you're someone who's a food addict, who loves good food, sugary foods, carb foods, and if food has been a big problem for you, obviously if you're overweight, then it has been. Overeating has been an issue for you, and I understand that because I've been there. And so if that's been an issue for you, then intermittent fasting is the best thing to get started with, because the first 5 to 6 months that I did it, I barely changed what I was eating, right? I still got away with eating a lot of bad foods. Just changing the hours that I was eating in really helped me to lose the weight, right? And so I'm down in Houston right now. It's kind of hot, so if you see me wiping my sweat, that's why. But 16-8 is what really works. And so I tried doing, I think about 2-3 months into it, I tried doing about 17, 18-hour fasts. And when I got to 18-hour fast, I started feeling a lot more hungry, and I was thinking way too much about how hard it was. It got really mental. The thoughts I was creating weren't serving me, and so I decided just to backtrack and do the 16 hours, and that worked really, really well. And so the benefits, like I was saying, I'll talk about a lot more, but it's that your human growth hormone shoots up, and that's been shown in a lot of research studies to actually help you lose a lot of fat. But the biggest benefit is that your insulin, it goes completely down when you have no food entering your body for such a long period of time. And so for 16 hours and you don't have any food going into your body, your insulin level's very low, right? Insulin shoots up when you put food into your body. And so because of that, when your insulin is low, that's actually how fat breaks down in your body. That's how your fat cells actually break apart and then disintegrate. That's how you get rid of body fat. And that's how intermittent fasting works so well. So it's really amazing because, it's basically, you don't have to do anything, right? You're basically just not eating. And for me, that's skipping breakfast. Now, I told some people when I first started intermittent fasting about, what it is, and they were like, oh, I can't skip breakfast. I can never do that. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. You don't have to. There's some people who, if you choose to have breakfast, you can. Then you can have a later lunch and earlier dinner and then skip a late dinner, right? There's all sorts of ways that people can do this. But I personally like skipping breakfast because you have so much more mental clarity throughout the entire morning. You can get so much more work done. When you start to fast, that's one another benefit is that you're going to have a lot of mental clarity, and you're going to be able to just achieve a lot more than you think you would on an empty stomach. And it's really amazing because I experience it every single day. After I have my first meal and those carbs come in the body and stuff, obviously your blood rushes to your stomach, right, to digest the food. And so you get that numbing sensation, you get a little more tired, a little more relaxed, and that happens, right? But if you've been fasting the entire morning, you'll be surprised at how much more you get done, how much more energy you have, and how high, like, your moods are elevated. Now, the first few days when you start, it's not going to be that way, so don't expect that, right? It's going to be a little challenging for you mentally, and so expect it to be a little tough. But if you can get through the first week, then you got this, right? So back to completely starting, what I would recommend is actually doing 14-hour fast, right? Which isn't hard, because let's say you have breakfast at early at 6 in the morning, then you have until 8 p.m. at night to have your dinner, which is very doable for many of you, right? If you're gonna have your 3 meals a day and snacks in between, whatnot. And don't worry about the food or what you're eating, just get used to the time range. And then after that, do 12-hour fast. 3 days, do that for 3 days. And after that, kick it to 10 hours, right? Your eating window, kick it to 10 hours, and then your eating window to 8. And then when you're at 8, you're good. That's when you found your sweet spot, your magic spot. You're good to go, right? And so that's essentially what it comes down to when you're first starting. I think when I did my first week, I started with like a 14-hour fast, then I did a 12-hour fast the next day, and then by the end of the week, I was doing 16-hour fast. So honestly, it wasn't too hard at all. Mentally, it was tough to just accept that, hey, I'm doing something and I'm on another diet, and we have a tendency of freaking ourselves out. But once I actually got over that, I was able to sustain it long term. And like I said, there were several days where I did have breakfast. There were several days where I didn't intermittent fast. In fact, there were several weeks where I fell off the wagon. But like I said, I've been able to keep off the 50 pounds because I was consistent. Every time I messed up or if I had a bad few weeks or a bad week, I just got right back on track, right? I just continued fasting because you don't have to do anything. Like many of these other diets, keto diet is very popular and there's lots of benefits to that as well, which I've tried the keto diet. I lost a lot of weight right before my wedding when I did the keto diet, and it works too, but I personally hated it. I don't know about everybody else. I just didn't like it. Who knows, I might try it later, but I just didn't like it. It didn't suit my lifestyle. And so, with intermittent fasting, you don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm out of ketosis now because I had some carbs, It's literally just about when you eat, and for that reason, it makes it the easiest diet in the world. And so, I'm just gonna say in this Houston heat that it's been the best thing that I've ever done, that I could have done for my life, and it's enabled me to lose the first 50 pounds. Now I'm going for my next 50, and I'm so excited because it really has changed the way that I think about myself, my body, and my relationship with food, and so many other aspects of my life. When you truly are able to master your mind and get disciplined about something like eating and losing weight, then you're able to master every other area of your life, because once you build that discipline in one area, you can really apply that to any other area of your life. And it's fascinating because I've improved in all areas of my life the past year and a half, right? Every single one. And I'm saying that, I'm letting you know that because I truly believe that kickstarting this process with choosing to get more fit and lose weight and create a better body for myself as a man really enabled me to spread that discipline and that thought process throughout all the areas of my life, and it's really benefited me, and I know it can do the same for you. So I'm really excited for you to start and for you to try this. So go ahead and give it a shot. Like I said, do your first one if you need to, 14 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, and then bring it down to 8, and then just have 16-hour fast. You'll have an 8-hour eating window. You can do 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Most days I actually end up eating before 8 p.m. So if I have my lunch at 1 and I stop eating at 8, then I've had a 7-hour eating window, which gives me a 17-hour fast, right? So I get an extra hour there, and that always helps. But don't go too hard on yourself. The first month, just really focus on getting the time ranges down. And also I would say that in the beginning, I did have 2 big meals and 1 small snack in the middle. So if you want to still have, because you're eating in such a short period of time, a short time frame, you're not gonna be really hungry, right? Even 7 hours later. So in the beginning, if you're used to eating a lot more food, which I was, then you can have 1 big meal, then like a snack, and then another big meal. And then eventually you'll get down to where you just want to have 2 bigger meals, which is what I do now, just lunch and dinner. All right. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear from you as always. And, let me know if there's any other questions you have about intermittent fasting or the mental aspects, the mental roadblocks of weight loss, because I've been there. I know what it's like, and I've overcome so much, and I want to share all of that information with you and help you in any way that I can. So please reach out to me and let me know. Of course, send your support love my way, comment below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, like I always say, I got nothing but love for you, and remember that God loves you even more, because he does. And remember that you're never alone in this journey of life, because I'm always here with you. Always, always. So never forget that. And I will see you in the next video. Rise up, warrior.